Okay, we are back grading your Dynasty trades. That's right. If you want a trade to be considered for this video series, join our Discord. Anytime you pop a trade in the Dynasty Trades text channel to get advice from people in the community, we will consider it for this video. So we got 2 trades to look out today, today, Badaki, today, Junior. So the first trade we're going to look at, you can see on the screen. Shout out to Medium Warrior was the username over there on Discord.
Correct.
Okay, so Team A gets Kyler Murray. Team B gets Marquise Hollywood Brown, the 110 in this year's rookie draft in a first in 2023. So I know where I stand, but I'd like to know from you first, who won this trade?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think this trade, in all honesty, is actually pretty fair just based on the draft capital that you actually got on the Hollywood Brown side. So you get Hollywood Brown, 24, 25-year-old wide receiver. Then you get the 110, then the 2023 first. The biggest question for me, where you can lose this trade, is if this 2023 first is going to be a top 4, top 5 pick, because the 2023 class should be a high, talented quarterback class. Is that going to happen? Who's going to be the guy? Who's going to break out? Who's going to have that shining moment like a Kyler Murray? We just don't know.
And will you be in a position to grab that player?
Exactly, and you can hit or miss in that 2023 pick. But if you guys know me, I get it. I respect Kyler Murray. I just don't like him. I don't like, just the way he plays and whatever the case may be. He's been a top 5 quarterback for the past couple years. He's a dual threat quarterback. I understand. It's a personal thing. But I respect him. I think both sides truly win, honestly. But you get so much draft capital and some talent on the other side with the Hollywood Brown. The 110 can be a George Pickett, a Chris Olave. You can get another quarterback in a Kenny Pickett. There's so many different options that can happen in that 2022 110 pick. And then same thing with the 2023. You just have to hope. The only way you win is that 2023 in the next year is going to be at least top 5 pick. If not, then you lost this trade for sure.
Right. I'm riding with Team A here. Team A is who I think won this trade. And this isn't an anti-Hollywood Brown take, by the way, because I do think he's undervalued by the community. And I do also agree that this is relatively even. However, if I'm selling Kyler, I am looking for more. Otherwise, I'm holding. And I guess it comes down to who got the best player, but not only the best player, at the most crucial position in Dynasty, at the position with the most longevity in Dynasty, okay? We're talking about Kyler Murray, who's currently 24 years old. Yes, I know there's been stuff out in the media about his contract, but if you expected to get your money and you didn't get it, what would you do, right? I mean, like I don't think it's wrong to want the extension. I think it's wrong the way he handled it, and he's going to continue to learn about that. But he's already a proven elite fantasy quarterback, guys. Okay, he was a quarterback 2 in 2020 when he didn't miss any games. He was a quarterback 4 in points per game last year. I use points per game because he wasn't playing the entire year, still on his rookie deal. We're talking about a decade plus worth of Kyler Murray here. So for me, whenever they do sign a contract, it will be the Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes type deal, a 5, 6, 7 year type contract for these Arizona Cardinals. To even consider that the Cardinals will move on for him is ridiculous because teams spend decades and decades trying to find a player like this to build their franchise around. I mean, ask Washington, ask Arizona when they were pre-Kyler Murray. So the deal's going to get done. Don't worry about that if you own Kyler Murray. But again, in a super flex league, because we're talking from a super flex perspective, quarterbacks, they have the most longevity in any league, in any dynasty league, but it's also one of the most important positions because it's very difficult to win a championship without 2 very good quarterbacks. So to me, Kyler Murray, I just think I feel like you could have gotten more Team B, for selling Kyler Murray. So I think it's the best player at the most important position. That's important there. Because a team that gets the best player, I don't always side with. But because it's at the most important position, and we're talking about, 8 years to 10 years of relevancy here, I do think that's very important. I mean, guys, Russell Wilson is 33, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Matthew Stafford is 34. And Kyler Murray is 24 years old. I just think that it's a really bad time to sell Kyler Murray. And at the same time, like you kind of alluded to, what are these picks going to be? Will you ever find a player? I know we love the 2023 draft class, but that doesn't mean that anyone's going to be Kyler Murray. That doesn't mean that you're going to find that valuable of a player with any of these picks. So to me, I mean, take the 2021 class, for example, right? How hyped were we and everyone, I assume, I can't speak for you guys listening, but how hyped were we for last year's draft? Right? Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson.
It takes time. So you have to
I know. And look, to preference that, I'm not giving up on that class. I still think that if you took a quarterback, in the first round of last year's rookie drafts, I'm not saying that's the wrong answer because they're still very valuable quarterbacks. And I don't think that's the wrong answer. That's not what I'm trying to allude to. But what I'm saying is it would be ignorant of us to assume that you're going to get a player that's worth as much as Kyler Murray with one of those picks. Do you know what I mean?
Just going to be even as good as Kyler Murray. We just don't know that. You hope. The expectation and hope is that he can be just as good. But that's what you're banking on. That's why you trade for the 2023 draft class, because you hope that these guys are going to be high caliber players just in general.
Yeah, so for me, again, if I have Kyler Murray, I'm not trading him personally, but if I am, I would like to get much more capital. So for me, I would lean that. And here's the thing, Kyler Murray fits all molds, guys. If you're a win now team, he fits your mold. If you're a futuristic team, he fits that mold. So I just feel like I don't like moving him. However, if I was to move him, I would need much more capital. So for me, Team B, I mean, you really have to hit on these picks. Let's give a grade for each side. For me, Team A, I gave an A+, or an A, just an A flat. Team B, I gave a C+, just because again, I don't like that move. What about you?
Yeah, for me, I gave both teams Bs. Once again, you have to hope that he hits on the draft capital, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. You hope that team, that draft pick could be a top 5 pick. You get Kyler Murray, which is fantastic. Then you got draft pick with a player. Draft capital in a player, I think it could even out depending on what it is. So I'm just gonna give it a B flat until maybe we should come back to this.
Maybe we should, yeah. And you know, the other thing to consider here is like Hollywood is 24 right now. He'll be 25
with Lamar.
Get a quarterback in 2023. He's still young. You get a quarterback in 2023. How long does it take for that quarterback to develop? I mean, where's Hollywood Brown when you're ready to compete? I'm not saying that he's not going to last, but it's an interesting convo. So let's look at this next trade. Shout out to Pol, P-O-L. Shout out to Pol. Hey, Pol. Over there on Discord, he submitted this trade. It is Team A, you can see on the screen now, is getting Deebo Samuel. Team B is getting Michael Pittman Jr., Elijah Mitchell, and Jonnu Smith. So I thought this would be an interesting trade to discuss because you and I have been kind of advocating for people to get value for Deebo Samuel right now after this offseason. I think that this is a relatively even trade, but I'd like to discuss and see where you land here.
Yeah, no, I do believe this is an even trade, but before we have to really break it down because there's a lot of question marks with some of these guys. Okay, so let's look at Team B side.
Almost everyone, to be honest.
100%. So Team B side, the guy that's trading away Michael Pittman and Elijah, or getting Michael Pittman, getting Elijah Mitchell. The question is, who's Michael Pittman's quarterback? That's number one. What's that going to look like? Is he going to have a QB carousel for the next couple of years? Are they going to get a rookie quarterback in the 2023 class? And you hope so, because we were just talking about this. Why trade away Carson Wentz to now take one step aside or a step back? Hypothetically, a Baker Mayfield.
This Carson Wentz trade 1 week later looks quite puzzling. We'll have to wait and see what the Colts do. But right now, it's quite confusing what their plan was.
There's still hope because Michael Pittman is still very young. There's opportunity, and the thing is that they're trying to compete now. So I don't know if them getting a rookie quarterback is the answer, but we'll see. Anyways, QB carousel.
I'll just say quickly, by the way, on that, Michael Pittman hasn't changed my rankings because of this move. I'm not going to change him until I see what the answer is. I still believe in him as a talent, but
for me,
there are question marks.
For me, that's the thing. Like, is depending on the quarterback, my rankings could change. Number 2, Elijah Mitchell. The whole thing with this running back carousel in the 49ers backfield, every single year there's somebody new. Every single year. There's even talks now. We were even talking about it. Well, should we be worried about Trey Sermon? You know,
right?
Is Trey Sermon going to take some opportunity? Not even that. We saw Deebo Samuel take some opportunities from the backfield from Elijah Mitchell and all these other people. So many question marks. But I think overall, Team B does win because of the talent and the hope that and the people that you got as well. Michael Pittman, Elijah Mitchell, and Jonnu Smith. Even though it doesn't mean anything, you still got 3 players for one. So then now deep on the Deebo side is like a question mark. You know, like, can he stay healthy? What's going to happen? Are they going to utilize him the same way? That's my thought process.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, for me, I am going to go Team B. I do think it's relatively even. However, I think there's a chance that there could have been more valuable offers out there for Deebo.
Right.
But I think this is fair Deebo value in return, what you got. But I would say as well, I have seen very interesting trades that have been submitted this offseason where people are getting a king's ransom for Deebo. I wouldn't consider this a king's ransom. I would consider this more relatively even value.
Yeah.
I think for me, I just really, really value Pittman. I like Michael Pittman. I currently view him as a top 15 to 18 wide receiver in Dynasty. Finished as a wide receiver 17 in 2021. That, while being on a team that was very run focused, a team that, as much as I'm hoping that Wentz is that guy moving forward, he wasn't necessarily the most reliable quarterback this year. So maybe the uncertainty at quarterback is what made this trade happen, right? Because if Michael Pittman still has Carson Wentz, I don't know that this deal gets done. I think it looks a little bit more one-sided.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm trying to speak from a general consensus view rather than just my own opinion there. But then Elijah Mitchell, I do view him as a top 12 running back in Dynasty, despite my concerns with that backfield. I do have concerns about it, but if he is to lead this backfield for the next 3, 4, or 5 years, I do think he does deserve top 12 compensation. And really, all this comes down to is I've been trying to sell Deebo Samuel in leagues that I have him because he has missed, since 2019, he has missed over 30% of his games due to injury.
Yeah.
So we love Deebo. We love the talent. But to be fair, how he succeeds is putting himself in harm's way. He gets the worst of each in the screen game, out of the backfield. He's getting the worst from a defender every time he touches the ball. So injuries just follow him, unfortunately. But he is the best player in this deal, right? So you can see it from both sides. I would just prefer the Mitchell and Pittman side. I think you can justify it both ways. I genuinely do. Like I agree. I'm not going to give one side an F and the other side an A because this feels very, very much like an even deal for me. And if Team A gets 2021 version of Deebo Samuel next year, they're probably competing for a championship. And
even
that
then
makes a lot of sense.
Even then they can sell them high again next year.
Yeah.
So the hope and expectation for Team A is that Deebo stays healthy. He gets the same workload.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to have a new quarterback, so there's going to be some growing pains there as well, which I think that's also a question mark moving forward.
Yeah. Agreed. There, even on Deebo's side, I mean, what will he look like with Trey Lance? We assume Trey Lance will be there. So there's a lot of question marks here.
So much.
I like betting on the talent of Pittman and Mitchell. So I'm going to give Team A a B- and Team B a B+ because I think it is relatively even.
Yeah, I'm giving Team A a B- and Team B just a B flat. Yeah, I think that's fairly even. I think both teams won here, and that's okay. Yeah,
agreed. Rare that we find a trade that we feel so neutral about, but that is interesting. Let us know, if you guys agree or disagree with our takes, that's okay. We always allow room for differences of opinion here on the channel. So comment down below what your thoughts are.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.